What's good, y'all? It's the Demouchets React, and we're back with another video. Who we got today, C?
Today we are back with another American reaction.
Yeah.
Super excited about this video. Celine hit us up late last night, and she was like, look, y'all, there's this video that just came out. I did not want to watch this video until I watched it with you guys.
Man, love. We here for it.
So, yes, we had to bump this one up on the list.
ASAP. That was a... Yeah, we should go ahead. Let's bump it up for
Yes, because, you know, we've been trying to have more of these type of conversations.
Yeah.
We know the value that we have in this social media space.
Mm-hmm.
And to finally see a recent video like this.
Right.
I'm
talking about toe to toe. We about to get real conversational.
Now, y'all already know how we rock.
We're going to have fun, though. So we're going to make sure we have fun at the end of the day. But if this conversation does hit us in the left field and everybody get teared out and stuff like that, then we're going to get Sierra a napkin, and I'm going to try to stay strong for us. All right.
But if you're new to us and we're new to you, make sure you scroll down, hit that subscribe button, and turn on the post notification bell, because we're on the road to 100K. And we cannot get there without you guys, all right? Join the family. Without further ado, let's get into the video.
Go our way.
Let me jump in real quick. No disrespect, but racism exists, and I have to acknowledge it. And I can't just ignore it, but what I can do is not buy into the system.
It sounds like it's getting crazy. Like,
look how we started off.
Man, okay. Africans versus African Americans.
Step forward if you agree. Slavery affected my family.
God dang, when they gonna stop? Oh, they going to sit down.
Yeah, I mean, that's just evident in my last name, King. I mean, that's the brand of the slave owner that put that name on my family all those years ago, and I'm still wearing it in those ways, along with the compounded, you know, economic disparity, social disparity, mental trauma, all of that. I mean, it's tethered forever.
So to go back to slavery and talk about post-traumatic stress disorder, it has never stopped.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So there is no post. What my great-grandparents were teaching my grandparents, who taught my mother, who taught me, came from what they learned through slavery.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of fear, a lot of insecurity, a fear of society, a fear of law enforcement. So slavery has made a major impact where the low self-esteem.
Yeah, that's definitely, just to add a quick note, that's definitely the doorway of what happened between slavery and becoming free in America. That doorway that he just mentioned about being scary, you know, all that stuff.
Yeah.
That's the doorway.
Hold up. Wait a minute. You know, I always got something to say. Okay, there has been times when, you know, we always say the Demouchets React. And I remember we went into a live and somebody said African Americans with a French name.
Right,
It's
yeah.
weird.
That is,
It's not weird. It's a French name. Put two and two together. We're from Louisiana. You know, who colonized Louisiana? We have a big influence by that. But we're going to get into that a little bit more.
Is consistently reoccurring. I think for me, growing up in Los Angeles, California in the early 1960s, there was a stereotype that I didn't want to be black. I didn't want to be African because we come from Africa or we're slaves. So I wanted to be a Chinese boy. I wanted to be Bruce Lee. So growing up like that, I didn't like myself and who I was. I didn't like the color of my skin or the way that I spoke. So I emulated other people. I wanted to be something that I was not.
It's very saddening when you can literally only go back a couple generations and then it's like the documents just don't exist. There's no record. It's like, you know, my family has completely been erased. In that same point too, in the time that we've been here, we've created an incredible culture and we have so many things to be proud of. And I always reframe the narrative myself and I speak of my ancestors that were enslaved as, you know, doctors and healers. And it's like, you know, we were taken because we were talented, you know, because we had skills to offer. And we built this country, so.
And still building.
And still building. That's something to take pride in, so.
Can the disagree step forward?
Uh-oh.
Oh, Lord.
Slavery didn't affect my family, but we did suffer a different type of slavery back home. Like we went through colonization. Like I am Bamileke. There was a massacre of Bamileke. You guys can look it up. They killed like more than 300,000 of my people.
They had a lot of that
because
going on.
we didn't want to assimilate to the French culture. But it's still nothing compared to what you guys ancestor like been through,
I wouldn't want to minimize that pain, though. What you just said hurt me. That 300,000 people were killed because they would not conform to the colonization of the French people. So that is just as painful and hurtful as the trauma that we suffered here in America.
I can't share the same experience that you have went through and your family. Even though we also had our own type of slavery, we had apartheid at the time, where the Dutch people took over and they wanted to just have South Africa, Namibia, and I think other countries where we could only just speak Dutch. It's somehow still happening even now. There's like a place in South Africa where it's called Oranje, and it's just Dutch people there. No black person is even allowed there. So we still somehow feel that oppression even now, but it's nothing compared to what your ancestral history, has gone through. I'm somehow happy that you guys have forgiven it, even though you haven't forgotten it. Have you forgiven it? I mean, like your face, like.
But me personally, no, I haven't. But I want to work through the change. But no, I have not forgiven because it's a system that's still going on. And from what I'm hearing from you guys, there's a system that's still going on in Africa as well, and it's a war on us.
Racism is the main cause of poverty among black people in America.
Definitely. I'm surprised the older man didn't.
Racism is a very big issue that, talking about it, I'm really trying to be careful to not say anything that will be insensitive. If opportunity is right here, they will give it to people of other race than African American and Africans too. So if there's a job that maybe have math requirement, I feel like they'll pick an Asian person, or they believe, African Americans will not dress appropriate, so they will pick another person. They will always pick people that are not black over people that are black.
And I also think, I think the crucial missing point when we talk about economic disparity, time. Time is the most valuable currency. And if you have a stock that's the American dream is the stock, and during all that time, all that asset, the American dream was appreciating, and you're not allowed to take out business loans, you're not allowed to read, you're not allowed to write, you had to first fight to become 3/5 of a citizen, then you got Jim Crow, and then you got everything else. It's you're now having to buy in at a price so high because the time is irreparable. You can't get that back. One black person today cannot, in one lifetime, achieve what generations of white families were able to do simply because they didn't have to compete with us to do it.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, it's hard. He did that.
Yeah, look. I was thinking, just like you said, from a historical standpoint, we start with slavery, then that's centuries, generations of stolen labor, like you said. Then we get into Jim Crow, which is just an extension of that. Then we have redlining, we have mass incarceration, we have events like the bombing of Tulsa and Rosewood in Florida, and all these different examples of our wealth being decimated. And I don't say that to come from a defeatist or a victim mindset, but I think if we just have an honest conversation about history and what we've gone through when we've been here, racism is definitely a big part of that. And there are a lot of...
Okay, so let me pause right there.
Yes, sir.
Now, it's I want to watch it through, but
I want to watch it through hard.
We got to remember that, we got a job here.
Man,
okay, so... One of the things that I want to mention is the mass exodus. And do you remember the series that they put out last year or the year before? I don't know. I was pregnant when they put this out. It was a thriller, but it was a historical thriller of when the black family, the mom went, the family was terrorized in their home. I believe it was either Alabama or Georgia somewhere. Mm-hmm. They were terrorized by a particular group, and they moved to Los Angeles to buy a home in an all-white neighborhood. Right? It was a series. I forgot the name of it.
Yeah.
I forgot the name of it, but I know y'all going to help us out in the comment section. And it was a thriller. And
just to paint a picture, when they made it to that neighborhood, they had a table in the middle of the street with with a box in the middle playing some music, and all the women were sitting at the table in their little polka dotted dresses.
Yeah.
And somewhere along the story, the family ended up finding another family, and they was just they was introduced to the idea that you guys are the second black family to move into that home, where a lot of people know that home.
Haunted.
It's haunted.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it went back years and years. And it was just so many things that was tied in it on how black people couldn't even have an equal opportunity to buy a home. And it's comment that the name of that series is on Amazon.
Right.
And if we get to it, we'll put it in the comment section. But it's like things like that. We weren't able to buy homes. We never really had like an equal opportunity.
Right.
In 2022, it's a whole lot better, but it's a lot that we have to go through. Like I remember, during the pandemic, they had those minority loans, special loans for black people. And I remember in the area that we're in, there was a business who wasn't black who sued the government because they felt like they didn't have an equal chance of getting that type of funding. But the point of that type of funding was because blacks don't have an equal chance,
right? Like
of
how
getting funding.
Like how he said, one of them had said it's something about they didn't have competition, so they didn't have to worry about the struggling or going back and forth to see who gets what. Another way of racism that we deal with today, and you got to stay on topic with this conversation because you can go so many directions.
Different ways.
Is police brutality. Once a black man or a child is taken from out of the family, the single parent thing is happening, and that mom or father have to fend for a home, a mortgage, a rent, maybe 2 or 3 children, going back and forth to work, food on the table, and that alone is so stressful to that one parent. You know what I'm saying? So it stops them from really going up that financial growth without having to, abandon a piece of their lifestyle, or having the father work 20 times more labor, and then you have this other few gentlemen who get a few hours on the clock and they get to go home with a good pay. It's like stuff like that really stunts the growth of financial wealth in black families. Right.
And I'm going to say this last comment and we're going to move on. Although blacks are not the top recipients of welfare anymore, we are still amongst the top, but we're not the top anymore. When it was created, women couldn't have men in the house. It is still like that today, right? Some things, like you can't have a man in the house. You can't make over a certain amount. Like even $2 will get you cut off of the help that you need to create a life for your family. Like it was so like they would give you the money, but you had all of these stipulations
that would stop you from really exercising your money.
Right. Like, so give this group some help with food, with Medicaid, with cash, a housing voucher, but you can't be married. It's all of these things that further the divide.
Right. I call them U-turn contracts. You don't go straight down the road. You can only go so far till you got to turn back to go back to get what has been provided for you to stay in that position all your life. And it's really hard to get out of that hamster wheel for some families. You know what I'm saying?
And I feel like we can go deeper into that because
But that's not our job yet.
Okay.
Let's let them get to it. This is a long one. We got a good one.
I'm sorry, guys.
Successful black Americans, a lot of millionaires, a lot of, business owners, but they're exceptions for sure for a reason. And there's a big difference between income and wealth. I would like to challenge the ideal that African Americans are lazy or that we don't have a good work ethic. I think there's this perception that, we're here, we're in America, how are we not doing better for ourselves? So
if that's the case, then slavery wouldn't have been such a hot thing. It wouldn't have been so of a thing for people to, make a revenue out of. Because once you take a whole bunch of people and put them to work, where's the laziness at?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, just don't.
Jesus, this conversation, like, y'all know. But slavery for us, of course, it was a bad thing, but in the eyes of them, the people who enslaved our people, it was successful to them. If it wasn't successful, there wouldn't have been, I can't say that word on YouTube no more, huh? There wouldn't have been a conflict to fight to keep it.
Right, and then if you really go into history, after slavery, there were so many beautiful black towns that have been built by their own black people that has been massacred and slaughtered and put back down to the dust. And I mean, that's the real life thing. Like, that's real as this shirt, y'all. It ain't gonna get no realer than this t-shirt I got on. For real.
I thought I was going to be the only one staying. I was going to be like, oh, I'm about to be like Kanye West. But okay, there's a lot of things we can use as an excuse to hold us back, to not to reach our potential. But it's up to us to look past that. Like me coming from Africa, I came here to better my life, my family. I'm the only one here. And since I have been here, there's a lot of bad things that happen to me. There's also a lot of good things that happen to me. Us African or African American, we need to like look past like racism and not just focus on our own goal. Like, what do we want to achieve? And we need to stop using the word racism when we don't get something or when something don't go our way, and just keep trying.
Let me jump in real quick. No
Hold up, wait a
disrespect.
minute. Wait. I'm sorry.
I don't.
I have a personal journey with that. I understand where he's coming from. I really do. You can't blame somebody else for not getting the level of success that you want. But I gotta be real careful with this one. But because I no longer have affiliation with this, I have to share my truth. I did not go to a HBCU simply because it wasn't in the location that I needed a HBCU to be in. So, the school I went to, I love my school. But I was supposed to graduate in 3.5 years instead of 5 years. There were so many curveballs for why I didn't graduate when I was supposed to graduate. And it's affecting me so much, but at the end of the day, I only had one person who was fighting for me to graduate. 3 times it was like, Sierra, you cannot graduate. What are you going to do? That's the question they kept asking me. And I remember the last time they told me that, and I was pregnant?
Yeah, you was pregnant.
I was pregnant.
So you walked the stage pregnant. Your degree was hard though. Like you
It
had a
was.
5-year degree, and you got it. I think that's why they was trying to debunk you.
I was pregnant with my toddler in a room with 2 individuals. Only one of those individuals had my back. Every time they told me, this individual emailed me before the meeting, talked to me before the meeting, and stood up for me in the meeting and stayed back after the meeting was over each time, 3 times. 3 semesters in a row after they told me, you can't graduate because XYZ. What you gonna do? These people wanted me to stop. They wanted me to stop. And I'm in tears. I'm like, I can't go on. But in the back, after I leave these meetings and talk to my advisor, the only person that stood with me and said, you can do this, you can do this. I had to ask myself, now I even remember talking to you, and I talked to one of my mentors. And I'm like, had I been at a HBCU, I wouldn't have to go through this over 2 points.
It was 1 point.
1 point the first time, but 2 points the second time.
Mm-hmm.
And the third time, it was because they changed the whole curriculum, and I had to take some more classes.
Mm-hmm.
Had I been at an HBCU, I wouldn't have went through the things I went through, and nobody could tell me different. So I'm going to just leave that at that.
But racism exists, and I have to acknowledge it. And I can't just ignore it. But what I can do is not buy into the system. If I want to do something, let me be the entrepreneur. What I believe happened in the 1960s is that we started looking for equal rights, to be equal with other people. And what we stopped doing, and I heard you talk about Tulsa, we stopped using the black-owned businesses. Now, because you guys got to understand, the Fair Housing Act in 1968, I'm 5 years old. That's when we could move off the east side of LA and move into other subcultures. Yeah. So what I wanted to do at 8 years old was go to IHOP. I didn't want to go to the Ma and Pa restaurant anymore. I wanted to go to, let's go eat at the hotels. So what we did is stop supporting each other and started supporting corporate America. So the racism plays a major part, but we don't have to buy into it.
Yeah. I have been waiting to disagree with you, my brother. I'm waiting patiently. The thing is, even though I want to disagree with you, I get where you're coming from. When I see black people talking about racism, all that stuff, I'm like, what is wrong with these people? You guys have food, you have EBT, all this thing, and you're here shouting about somebody is racist too. Just leave that person and move on. I feel that way. Like, why are they always like complaining? But when Black Lives Matters started happening, like, I sat down, I said, I need to actually know why these people are pained. And if we look at the history, what they've done to them, like if you actually sit down, watch some documentaries, how they were maltreated, I don't think if I'm actually born, I will forgive those people. I don't care. It's easier for us Africans that were raised in Africa to feel like they're complaining because we were raised through struggle. Like I barely even have water, and you have water, you're complaining. But then it's not about the basic necessity or about how we are raised. We are raised like, I don't want to say way better. We might not have resources, but there's some way, like our own people will not look down on us or put us behind. So they're nurtured that way. Like they just can't overlook it. And if you sit down and watch everything that the forefathers have been through for real, I changed my mind. No, they need to be angry. However, they should still move forward.
I mean, we have police brutality back home too.
True.
We have, like, if you go to Cameroon and then you see how the police officer treat us, and they're black just like us, you're not even gonna believe it. You know, and in Cameroon we have this. Have you guys heard the word like tribalism? So
yeah, it happens in Nigeria.
Yeah, so we do get oppressed too. And
I agree.
So when I'm saying like we need to like look past that, I'm not saying forget what happened to you guys or me. At the end of the day, we cannot just sit and just grieve on the past. We have to be.
I think what he's saying is basically you can't sit and grieve, but at the same time you have all the strength, you have all your bones, you have all your mental states to really push forward and be successful. Because if you look around, you see success. You see black people being really successful around this type of, things that we go through that to hold us back. But if those obstacle blocks wasn't in the way, have they been in the way? I feel like either way, you still going to have to push yourself forward to get where you got to get. It's like a child learning to walk.
Right.
That child have to learn to walk at the end of the day, regardless of how much of the not understanding of what walking means. I don't think I'm going the right way with this.
No, you are, baby.
No.
But on the police brutality, we can't get past it. As parents of black boys, there's a fear in me when it comes to my child, my boys, my daughter as well, because I've seen, police brutality towards women. There's a fear in me that's like, no matter how well we raise our children, no matter what suburbs we move to, they're going to be profiled. We've been profiled.
I think what the difference with locations in Africa, because I know it's a continent compared to America, potentially the whole America has a level of racism where you can look at it, and if they call the cops on a black person,
right,
the role playing is in full effect, and you have to work your way out of it. It's like, I guess what I'm trying to say is, a phone call in America compared to in Africa, yeah, they probably deal with tribalism and stuff, but for us, it's like, it's it can get way worse, 100%, and they can get off, and it's like
the Emmett Till case. Taking one person's word towards a black person could be end of life.
Yeah, I know what I'm trying to say. I don't feel like I'm saying it like I want to, though. But I know what I'm trying to say. It's just not coming out right.
Able to move on, but not forget. If I could choose a place to live, it would obviously be my country. I love my country. But right now, my country is not the best choice for me. There's a little genocide going on in Cameroon right now. So many innocent lives are being taken. If I was still in my country, the opportunity that I have here, I would not have those opportunities there.
Hip-hop reinforces stereotypes about the black community.
It does.
Yeah, you can't sugarcoat it.
Not at all.
You can't sugarcoat it.
All for money too.
Yeah, and I mean the music itself does have a range to the vibe and everything because of the culture that we grew up in.
For me, it's not a vibe for me.
But I'm just saying,
I grew up in the culture.
Like if you grew up in the culture and you know what I'm saying, you see what it is. Like if you really look past certain of the lyrics that they be saying and you put yourself in certain positions that they be saying, certain things they saying make sense. Yeah. But not the whole 9 yards of it makes sense. I don't.
Nah, you can't.
I don't think that
you can't be preaching about not preaching.
It's basically what it is.
Basically, but you can't be rapping about, you know, doing these things and hitting licks and all that, and your children going to private school. Your children don't even know nothing about the struggle. You are furthering the demise of these group of children, but that is funding your children to go to better schools, have better opportunities, but you are mentoring these young boys, these young girls to continue doing something that you don't even have to worry about anymore. I have a real problem with that, and that's why I cannot listen to many rap artists today. I can't listen to a lot of that. That's why I'm still stuck in the 90s. Baby, heal me. Heal me. Continue to heal me.
Now
Lauryn
I feel
Hill,
like the
album came out in what year?
I don't know.
In the 90s, something like that.
Definitely in the 90s when we was
I'm
younger.
still on it.
Yeah, they be glorifying all the wrong things and they be mismanaging people's mindsets, especially at a young age. When these kids get this music and stuff, they think that the drama and being angry and all that stuff is a norm, so you don't get no relationships out of them. You don't get that conversation out of them. Them headphones.
And let's not even get on reality TV.
Nah, they say.
Oh my Lord.
I think they say hip hop music, right?
Hip hop culture.
Culture. Well,
love it.
I know where you headed.
I ain't gonna say that, baby.
We have our own version of hip hop, so we call it Guaito. So they would rap in our own language in different. We call it vernac. So back home, it kind of did reinforce some stereotypes because now when you go out in the world, people will just classify you under one group. And growing up, also looking at American entertainment, looking at the hip hop that's done here, I'm like, oh well, you're rapping about drugs, you're rapping about this. Of course it's going to happen. Of course you're going to go to jail. But getting older, you see the culture as well of hip hop. I had to understand that there's a culture within that.
I was alive when hip hop started, and it was during a time where people rapped about what they saw, what they wanted, what they wanted in life. And then it became where people rapped about what they had been through, what they had gotten over. You know, used to sell drugs, used to hurt people, but now this is who they are. And I think it's gotten into now, and in our day and age now, it's where people are glorifying and wanting to pretend that these are the things that they do on a daily basis when it's not. So it went from storytelling to now really it's truly storytelling.
Yeah, they take storytelling to a whole new level. Yes. Never did a whole bunch of stuff they say they did. Really. And then some people have to try to prove themselves that, because if you say you did this, the streets is going to challenge that. Right. Especially if you say you did this in a rap song, you come out and then they see you not acting like who you say you were, then bro, they're going to try to pull your card.
Yes, that's what they call definitely. It. Like I remember, like I'm an old soul in a young body. Okay, I remember like Salt and Pepper. Like
Salt and Pepper.
They used to come out with songs that would talk about like go get checked. You know,
TLC, like stop chasing the waterfalls.
For real. Now it's chase the waterfalls.
Man, we had an era in life where music was very therapeutic, and it would put you back, and you would sit back and be like, dang.
So glad we was alive.
Man, what the boy say about pigeons, man? I remember, I think it was a female track about pigeons. I don't know, yo. I'm going to have to figure out. But he used pigeons in the slang as a woman and stuff like that.
Like Tupac. We need some more Tupac.
Man, Tupac was a realist.
For real. Like
we need more realists in the industry. Less storytelling, unless you're trying to tell a story that can bring a person out of that mental state that they're in, that can put them in jail or in the grave.
For real.
It's unhealthy for our culture.
I don't want to on my radio and all I'm hearing is I put a bullet, something. Like I'm like,
true. Yeah,
that's what you would do. No, like, and then it's like it's all about like talking about female body type, the booty, the thing. Like, don't talk about my booty like that. So I don't want to listen to something that portray me as a female that way, or something that is talking about how you put bullets in my head. Like, if you actually do not come to America and see for yourself, you will think that most African Americans are carrying guns around and they just shoot randomly, or they just grab your ass or something like that. That's the way the music portray them. And music is a very important element in our society because it influences a lot of people, both youngs and adult, and then they kind of see all those stuff and they act like that, even though that's not what they really want to be. They act like that and behave like that. Like if all these rappers are your role model, then you want to be like them. You want to be cool too. So in the end, it's about like the people that are packaging the music, and sometimes about trend is what people want to hear.
The American dream is only for white people.
No. Hold up, wait, before we even get here.
The American dream is only for white people.
Before we even get here, so, you know, we have a lot of different cultures that's a part of the community on our channel. And a lot of people don't even believe in the American dream.
No, they don't. They be like, you guys got to have an American dream to do what y'all want to do.
And I would think is the American dream is what you make of it.
Right,
it's not, you know, the picket fence, a good job and all that. It's not that at all.
Not that, nah.
It's what you want to be in your life. How you want to contribute to this life if you're living in America. That's like a European dream, a Brazil dream, a Jamaican dream. It's what you want to accomplish while living there.
Yeah, it don't necessarily have to be what you see on TV or what you heard someone else say their goal may be. It's something that's really personal to you. Your American dream may be not ever having to work again for another job. That is a very big goal to accomplish. Or it may be owning your own business. You know what I'm saying? But however you package, like they was using, however you package your dream, that's how you're gonna be viewed. You know what I'm saying? That's your success, not no one else's.
Exactly. I'm eager to see what he's gonna say.
He's alone?
No.
Okay.
I believe that the American dream is only for white people because it says equal. And when we talk about equal, there's no equality between the 1%, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Trumps, and the people who really run the media and things of that nature. So for black people growing up in America and living in America, we could become rich, we could become wealthy, but we are not on the equal playing field of white America.
A lot of heads on that.
The system of white supremacy, which is in the law enforcement, which is in the judicial system, which is in the prison industrial association.
I agree. You guys, we get some of our pauses in today.
Yeah.
But I do agree with what he's saying because how the system is set up, the American dream would definitely be more beneficial for a different race than the black. So if I'm going up the corporate ladder, I feel it would be 10 times more harder to get where I want to get compared to another gentleman who can just shoot up there because his uncle may be, you know, part of the corporation on some levels or something like that, which I have witnessed. I've seen that.
Yeah, but I mean, he comes from a different time.
He does, but I see what he's saying, though.
He was born in the 60s. I do see what he was saying. He was born in the 60s. We are millennials. Mm-hmm. We have seen way more millionaires. People become millionaires with our own two eyes on social media than our parents have ever seen in their lifetime.
But that's not like a... It's not like
the
an original
American dream. Like we're not back at the creation of America or when they even started this American dream tagline. We're not there anymore. Like we said before he even said anything, the American dream is what you make it. Mm-hmm. I have seen with my own two eyes people my age become millionaires.
Yeah, but you still have to, there's still a level of your work ethic that surpasses what it is that you can do in life.
Yeah, it's your work ethic.
You have to put in that type of grind and that hustle, and you have to have that mindset, because if you're looking at life thinking that, you know, racism is going to stop you, poverty is going to stop you, brutality or whatever it is that's going on may stop you, the food chain may stop you, like, yeah, you're going to be stuck at your distractions.
Yeah, definitely.
But if you look past that and you stay on your lane, like I heard my man, I think Nipsey said it, bro. He said you have no traffic in your lane if you stay in your lane. No one else can come in your lane and stop what you got going on.
I don't want the American dream that they sold in the 60s.
Nah, it has to be your own.
I don't want that no more. The American dream that you and I have, that you and I share, nobody else has that American dream.
Nah,
so when he says equal, I don't want what nobody else have.
Right, because what God has for you is for you. It's not supposed to be a replica of who else. You gotta be for you. You gotta do what you gotta do with it. Just say it. You gotta make it work.
Also, in the politics, we are not equal in any of those terms.
He changed his head. Look, he changed his mind. He had to come back.
Old school and
when I was back there, when you were speaking, I started thinking, like, could we ever actually as Black people have the American dream here in America, and I don't know if we really can. I'm trying to be careful with my words, but I do think there needs to be a degree of separatism. Like Black people, we really need to have our own to fully take part in that dream.
This is their system.
Wait.
Why would...
Oh, he about to school him.
Before he even get there.
I was in school him.
It makes me think to Tulsa, Black Wall Street. It makes me think of.
I don't think that would fly.
What's the town that's under Lake Lanier in Georgia?
They got a few lakes that is.
It makes me think of those people who had their own little piece of an American dream.
But this was back around what?
And they riot over the littlest things.
But that was some times ago though. Like that's whenever they was still had that. I don't want to say slavery mentality.
It wasn't that long ago. It was during
I don't know.
I'm trying to think. Now look. There's some that happened in Florida. There's some Oklahoma, of course. There's some all over. Even as far as New York.
They had their own banks and everything.
I would have to like really pull through my research. I researched things
I don't want to be wrong when we speak on that.
But yeah, like it's like riots happen and over the littlest things and fires and flooding and
But why would
Fort Worth, Dallas.
Why do you think so though? But why do you think that was a reason that Black communities was being targeted on such a level?
On this camera.
I feel you.
But before you go, I like to talk.
Okay, baby, I like to listen.
Even Dallas, I can't think of the name of the neighborhood, but they built a bridge through it. So.
Gonna do our research on that.
Yeah. No, is that what you was gonna say, babe?
If I remember.
I'm sorry.
Yes, the black dollar. I feel like black money is definitely, a big train when it comes to bringing in clothing or anything, food. Like, our money goes a lot of places but our own.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what he's about to go with when he said, if we want to see the American dream, how we support everyone else, if we just do it ourselves, we can definitely grow quicker.
Yeah.
But we don't be wanting to do that.
Oh, Lord, let's see what he got to say. It could go so many different ways.
We dream of being equal in a system that wasn't designed for us.
The American dream, at least the way that I define it, is, freedom of opportunity, freedom to choose what I want to do, freedom to acquire wealth the same way that anybody else can. Mm-hmm. Obviously, we're fighting the tides of time on that and our circumstances, but it's hard because it's hard to honor that, but then also want more for myself. And I think that as Black people, we're always teeter-tottering on that line of like, well, am I American? Like, do I get the American dream, or do we just tear all this down and build something new? White people are not the only people entitled to the American dream ever. And I think that's why we're all here, because our ancestors made it.
I believe that. I don't feel like the American dream is, again, it's changing. It changed with times.
Yeah.
The American dream is not just for white people. If we're going to say that is racist as I don't know what. This country is changing. Mm-hmm. This country has changed. Of course, we deal with racism. I get that. But there's so many different types of cultures, immigrants, the indigenous people. This American dream is not just for white people. It's not.
No, it's really not.
It's
really
not. It's yeah.
So that we can stand here and pursue that American dream.
I wouldn't have been here if it meant that it was not for everyone.
Exactly.
I wouldn't have even entered America. I feel like not just African, but other people as well in different countries. And from what I have seen, I've seen other people, even Africans and African Americans, succeeding in their own way. And that's why I feel like you said, you can interpret the American dream in a different way, whatever industry or whatever it is that you're focusing on, because there is a level of opportunity there. There is some way that you can be successful. Talking about Trevor Noah, who took over The Daily Show, it wouldn't have been possible for him coming in as an African. He got his American dream. Mm-hmm. It made us as well, other Africans, believe that it is possible.
The American dream writes his check. So he gets to have wealth, or whatever it is that he's experiencing. But the American dream is the one who writes his check, not him.
I get what he's saying.
Expound on that.
No, he can't because this is television. I get what he's saying though.
It writes his check.
Right. So if you go to your all right, so you work at a job, right, and your boss is white, he writing your check. Basically. Meaning that when he tells you it's time for you to clock in, it's time for you to clock out. When he tells you that it's this is your raise you're gonna get, it's not what you think it's gonna be. It's gonna be a few cents.
I get
but
that. But
that's why you have to be mindful of where you're receiving your money from.
Yeah, but I mean, the CEO of YouTube is white. So
yeah, I'm not.
So I would have to disagree with him on that because Trevor Noah, with the show that he just signed off on, right? Mm-hmm. Trevor Noah got those ratings. Trevor Noah got those views. Trevor Noah got those brand deals coming in. So it's not just them writing his check. He created the check for them to write. And I'm pretty sure that's not the only check that he's receiving.
I think y'all both right.
I mean, I get where he's coming from, but like I said,
it's not like they're telling him, I need you to do A, B, C, and D, and then boom, you go out there and you put on a show for us. Yeah. And then we're going to pay you for that. They're not doing that. He's going out there with his own personality, his own jokes, his own crowd. His people love him. They didn't come for the CEO. Yeah. Right? They came for his 5-star rating. They want to see if it's real or not that he's doing what they say he's doing on television in person. So whenever he put on that show and then his numbers go crazy, man, yeah, he's getting his check. Right. Based off what he did. Now, if he didn't put in the work, they wouldn't want him on their stage, for one.
This not Chicken George and Massa anymore.
There you go. Basically. But again, I still feel like that can be...
So, no.
I feel like that can work out in both ways.
I get what he's saying, but...
They got some people that's working a 9 to 5 and their check is capped.
That's different.
Their check is capped. They will not make no more than what they make. I don't care how hard you work. I don't care how many hours you put in. I don't care if you come in early. Once them taxes cut, once everything go back down to how it's supposed to be on your check, yeah, you going to have that set check every single time. I've been in those type of positions where I would go into work early, leave early, you know what I'm saying, being real good to the people, not causing no trouble, you know what I'm saying, and I look at my check and be like, what the...
But that
who wrote this? You know what I'm saying? Who wrote this?
Hey, look me at home. Hold up, baby. They cut you right here.
Went back and calculated this stuff about 50 times, and I'm like, wait, I'm not getting times the amount I'm supposed to make, and they dividing that? They actually taking from me?
That was so stupid.
Hold on, let me call corporate. Like, I want to see why my check wasn't making them, you know what I'm saying? So they're signing off based off what you put in work for. Regardless of how you do it, your time is, capped with them.
That's their dream, though. You got to get your
You're
dream.
building their corporation, right? So they're going to only limit you what they want you to get.
Right.
And, you got to know how to... Then you have these other guys and gals who are out there actually putting in work. And you can't write their check any other way than what they say you're supposed to write it. Right. Because if I put in my work for this, I don't care how many hours I put in. Surpass that time limit and look at what I did. Yeah, pay me for that.
But we're going to leave y'all with this little note right here before we continue. Y'all see how Dion was talking about the check situation? We got tired of that. Yeah. Okay, so what we did was one of us stayed at home, built the business, so that the other one, well, Dion, could get off of their dream.
Right, we have to take the money.
And we build our own dream.
And we have to flow the money so more money could come in, right? So we created a hamster wheel to where the money that I was making will go into a business. The business will push out, successful people, and it will befriend and trust in us, and then it will cycle back, and that's how you work. You ain't going to get your money from a tree. You ain't going to get your money from a shirt. You're going to get your money from people.
Right. So, and continue to build on that dream.
Yeah. But in other news though as well, relationships is more valuable than money.
Yes,
so
definitely.
Be good to people, and then they'll be good back to you.
I agree with you. I agree with you. But you see how we would put it as he had his American dream, even though someone writes his check.
You just said that.
But for him, or for some of us looking at it on the other side, that's his American dream, because his goal was to get there. The biggest cultural shock I saw coming here was definitely the lifestyle. because the lifestyle I saw of America, especially Los Angeles, was portrayed as a very rich lifestyle. And of course, I came here as a student, and coming here, living here, and seeing the reality of it, seeing different homeless people, disadvantaged people, was really a cultural shock for me because I didn't expect to see that. And I guess also the way people were handling each other, because coming in as an African, I thought people were together. But since being here, I saw that there was a huge divide, or there is still a huge divide within the African American community themselves.
If he had stayed in South Africa, would he have the same opportunity that he had here?
No.
Like, you know, so corporate is writing his check, but like us growing up, the reason we move here is because we don't have it better back home. Like for me, I'm the first person ever in my family in America. Everybody else is back home. Everybody's depending on me. Like, all of them, my mom, she's dying to come here. Like, she's willing to do anything just for her to be in America. So for me, when I look at those like little things, I'm like, yeah, American dream is for everybody, you know? Like, yeah, we might not have the same opportunity as the white people, but there's still that little chance that a lot of us back home are willing to take just to get here.
I trust law enforcement.
Look at me. Wow, I laughed and they started laughing, bro. Wow. Yo, that is hilarious. But let's continue.
All right, can the disagreeer step forward?
Everybody, step forward.
That is too funny. That is, oh my goodness.
Let me say this.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Nothing wrong.
We need more people from every background in America on the police force.
I think the police force is, like, for a lot of people, it's power driven, bro. You get to get in people's face. You get to use the law as a reason to do what and when you want to do things. And it's very, you know what I'm saying, you know, it plays a psychological role, especially on the black community, because when they hear that knock, or when they see that car, or when they see that man walking down the street with his badge and his gun on his hip, they instantly know something about to happen. There's no ands, ifs, or buts about it. Yeah. So they know the law is not down there to help nobody on that street. Whoever's on that block about to go to jail. Or worse.
There's no reason I should have been 8 months pregnant. I was speeding, but...
Wait a minute.
But there should be no reason I should be like in fear, trembling, because I don't know what's going to happen on the dark road getting pulled over by the cops. And baby, yes, I am one of those people that I'm going to slow down until I get to a well-lit, well-populated place. Cause
I don't think I ever told this story to nobody.
Oh,
but yeah, I had a cop follow me for like, man, I don't know how far McDonald's was.
About 2 miles.
Maybe 2 miles. Then at the block of the street I was actually about to turn on, which I put on my signal because, for one, I don't need you to have no reason to want to come pick on me. I put my signal on, and the second I made it to my driveway, I see a car speed down the street. Lights hit and everything. Hop out the car, talking about, stay in the vehicle. I got McDonald's in my hand. Y'all seen this story plenty of times. Could have been McDonald's, could have been a bag of Skittles, could have been anything. Skittles. And I'm like, what's going on, officer? Long story short, he ended up slamming me on my car, trying to put me in handcuffs. But he had no real reason to doing so, because he said 2 blocks ago I didn't put on the blanket. I'm like, why you didn't stop me then? He hitting all this stuff going on, and my wife in the house talking about, why you didn't scream for me?
For real? Like,
I'm like,
happened.
at the same time, I ain't gonna tell you how aggressive and physical everything got, but he did slam on me and everything, and stuff like that happened, and yeah. But he did not take me to jail. He didn't write me no ticket. Everything was just like done to me in a way that left me traumatized, because I was like, why did that happen on that day?
And in front of my house.
When I'm trying to feed my family. You feel me? So it's like, I'm in my driveway.
It's now, I've had family members and friends who were a part of law enforcement. I trust the good guys, but it's hard to trust the good guys when there's so many bad apples. But it's like, I was 9 when I learned that I can't trust them. When I saw my uncle come down the street looking like an alien because he got beat up so bad by them for minding his business. Nah. And it's crazy because, you know, we go from teaching our children at a young age through school, not us teaching, but at a young age, like, oh, this person is supposed to protect you and serve the community, to they go home and let's say they don't live in a nice area and they're seeing, you know, raids or, you know, so much going on in the, it's
My advice is just learn the law. And even learning the law can still not be the biggest
know your
bet,
rights.
but know your rights. Learn the law, man. And
this is gonna be a tough conversation, child.
Yeah, this, that, and the third.
I got married to a young lady who did 15 years in prison for a robbery she didn't commit.
Ooh.
I myself was incarcerated for 6 months for a burglary that I couldn't have committed because I was in prison. So in 1987, I'm doing 19 months in prison. When I came home in 1988, I was given a burglary charge and I had to sit 6 months. And the judge did not kick it out because there's no way I could have done it. He kicked it out because they didn't serve me the warrant while I was in prison. So I don't trust them. They lie and they do things and it affects our people. So many people I know who have been wrongfully arrested, wrongfully convicted, and they actually lie on the stand. So there's no trust.
As you guys know, I am from Richmond, Virginia. It was the capital of the Confederate. I have been brutally abused by the police there. Like, personally, I was at the river on the 4th of July. I don't smoke. I don't do none of that. The police come and arrest me because I look like a drug dealer. Like, they arrested me.
What? The
stereotype. When I was in high school, my senior year, my father went to jail over a car accident, and I was left alone at 17 years old. I was grateful. One of my teachers took me in and raised me. I try to stay away from the police as much as possible.
First of all, they're human beings, and I think that just because you put a badge on doesn't magically bewitch you with integrity and a desire to actually help the people around you. I think a lot of times police culture comes from police families. It comes from legacy lines and this whole culture about stuff. I mean, I don't trust them any more than I would trust any other person. They haven't earned that necessarily, especially not as an institution. In its purest form, I think it's necessary, but they have a lot of living up to that to do and to make up for if they're going to be trusted.
I've seen law enforcement here on social media and seeing how they treat people of color, from hitting them. I mean, George Floyd, rest in peace. But just seeing that from my experience being here, I was scared, every time I'd see a cop pass by, I'm like, okay, I better make sure I'm driving okay, because I don't want to be stopped, or make sure you're not in any harm's way, but it's sad to feel that pressure every time you see a cop going by, and even if they're trying to help, but I wouldn't even want that help because of what I've been seeing on social media, and also seeing the case of people being wrongfully, taken to prison. That's unfair. What type of research are you doing before you arrest people?
And I immediately thought about the history of the police too, just tracing that back to slave patrols, which became our modern day police departments.
Right.
Oh, the fact that if you have a felony, you can't vote. That to me is talk about the loss of the American dream. You are a citizen of this country. You should always have a right.
I just want to add one little thing, man. Don't be bullied. Stand up for yourself and, say the right things at the right time. And if nothing needs to be said, just don't say nothing at all.
Shut up.
But don't be bullied. Don't
Stand
be
your ground.
bullied. That's all I really want to say. Don't be bullied. You know what I'm saying?
Record.
We are obsessed with race in America.
We're obsessed with race in America?
I believe so.
I gotta see how they explain it.
Hold on. I believe so, but it's just a chain reaction from years and years and years and years. Especially with, now we create an emphasis on buy black, black owned, black this, black that. That's because we've been left out so long.
Right.
Right now, there's a viral trend on TikTok about the black girl follow trend. That's because why do, I forgot the name of it, but our search engines, on the internet, in order for you to see a lot of search results come up of people you can relate to, you have to put a race behind it. And it's a theory. I forgot the name of it, but it's you have to put a race behind it to get
That's on TikTok?
Google.
Oh, just any
like, search engine.
Any search engine. Wow.
Yeah, like, okay, let's say if I want braids, I would have to put braids black girl to get the type of styles that I'm looking for. You know, like, that's how they design the internet.
So we are obsessed with race in America. Not personally, but like we have to go down that alley just to get things.
Yeah, I mean,
let's see.
I think that word obsessed is such an interesting word, and I think that the way that question is framed is almost as if it's like the onus is on us, like we're obsessed with race too much. Like, no, white people are obsessed with race in this country. They've made their laws based on it. They've cast us out because of it. They've like destroyed entire groups of people because of it. So, I mean, we're just living in the ripple effects of the stones that were cast in the pond of history. So we're just reacting to it. So we would rather just be human beings and American citizens and, you know, people that are pursuing an American dream. We'd rather not have to think about race, but that, we did not draw first blood on that.
What else do you expect?
Yeah, like, I mean, I'm not obsessed.
Yeah, he bodied that one. That's generational talk right there.
Me being in America give me an opportunity to like meet and like discover so many different culture that I would never see if I was in my country. I would just like maybe hear about it on the news. Yes, I agree. I think they are very obsessed with race. Even when you do like an easy application, like it doesn't matter what application you do, they want to know your race. They want to know.
And none of us here are just American.
Bro, so. And now I see where they're coming from, man. You can hear this in basketball interviews. You can hear it from the press when they're talking to presidents. You can hear, like, whenever they have a real conversation going on, they want to add or include a level of race in it to see who you stand with and how you stand towards it, with it, or against it. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, definitely. None of us are just Americans. And, you know, we just found that out this year that we're, one of the only countries that do that. Like, everybody else, the nationality is where they were born, you know. So, I mean... Yeah,
at the end of the... I'm sorry, go ahead.
From the time we're born, we are told to check a box. To the time that we pass away, we are told to check a box.
Yeah, 100%. Excuse me, at the end of the day, I see who you are as a person, like, you know, where you come from. I see your culture. I see your background just from your features, but you're human. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you know, I don't, regardless of what aspect of life you walked from, I see you as a person and you get a chance, you know what I'm saying, to be loved on, respected, and such, depending upon how you are in life. What has life done for you and what has life developed you into. Right. So, as a person, if I'm going to see you as that, and I'm going to love on you accordingly. But the second was, you know what I'm saying, that race starts to play a factor and you want to act a certain way around certain people, you want to talk to me a certain way around certain people, or, you know what I'm saying, it's like, people hide behind themselves when they get around certain groups of people. Because they had this one social media thing where this kid was in the stadiums and he was saying some very profile language that he would not see around other people. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that. So race does play a big obsession thing, however they say it.
Yeah. Obsessed with race.
Yeah, however they put it on.
Why they don't have a category for Africans?
Exactly.
You know?
It's strictly black. Like,
they want to know everything.
The thing that pisses me off the most is that when they see you, and they be like, oh, you have an accent. Where are you from? Like, who cares where I'm from? Just tell me this thing and let me keep going.
And when you tell them that you're African, they be like, what country?
Yeah, they're so obsessed with where you're from.
She's like Wakanda.
Like,
I don't believe that there's an obsession about race in America. I believe that race is a distraction to hide the power, the wealth, and the access to it. So a lot of times there's something put on the table, like a rock being thrown, and I hold my hand, and that's the racism between black and whites, between blacks and Hispanic, and other cultures have come here. We'll talk about race just so that we don't have access to the power and the wealth, and I think it's done on purpose. There's a power that allows us to...
I love that they have him on here because he represents an older generation.
Yeah.
But times have changed.
Yeah.
Times have changed. Tell Grandpa times have changed. We all have access to wealth. It's just not just go to work. Okay? We all got access to wealth.
I don't know, y'all. I got something I want to say, but we're going to hold on. We're going to hold
We
it
almost
on.
there.
Talk about race if we don't look past it.
Some of the question prompts that I see differently, and then when I hear somebody say it, I'm like, that actually makes sense coming from their perspective. So it's been really beautiful having this conversation with you guys. You guys are very knowledgeable, and I've learned a whole lot from each and every one of you today.
Going into this with like the title of the series, like African versus African American, I think that like people were gonna come in thinking that we were gonna be like guns blazing, but this is such a beautiful display of unity. I love it. It like gave me so much life today.
Now, y'all should already know how we feel about this conversation.
Yes.
We have been asking for these conversations forever. This was a beautiful conversation. I agree.
Yeah, but these topics was very much
Tough.
needed and tough, you know what I'm saying? So I hope it did open up a lot of people's eyes, and you know what I'm saying, if you are money driven, you know what I'm saying, not to be fogged by the dollar but by the reality of things, you know what I'm saying, because power does take a big play on certain people's lifestyle. So just hear people out and understand, put yourself in their shoes, try to see what life they're coming from and why they're saying what they're saying, because you told me this one time, there's like, you're not going to say something that is not real. If you felt this type of way, you're going to speak on it. You know what I'm saying?
That's
so
your experience,
that's
and
your
nobody
experience.
can take that from you.
That's what it was. That's a bar. Yeah, lift it. Yeah, I just took that one chin up.
Yes, I feel like these conversations are really important to not just African Americans. We have a lot of people on this channel that are all different types of races, ethnicities, come from different types of cultural backgrounds, and I feel like everybody can take bits and pieces from this conversation and understand a little bit more.
Yeah.
You know, racism does exist, so we cannot act like it does not. We get racist comments.
Yeah, we do.
You know,
we got to put on the screen. Y'all want to see a few? No, we get them for real.
Child, y'all mental health will be crushed if we showed y'all all the racist comments that we receive. But
I feel it's like, I know, like, now I'm thinking about the comic section, because we do have some people that just are one-sided when it comes to their thought process, and that just really gets to me, because I'm like, you didn't try to understand why that little kid knee was scraped and why he was on the ground crying. You didn't try to understand why that lady probably was in a position trying to get on the bus and go pick up groceries and walk down the street with it, and her child couldn't come with it. Like, you didn't try to understand. So I feel like some people are just one-sided. And they just need to stop for a second, take a breath, and put yourself in other people's shoes and brackets and all that.
Yeah, and have an open mind with these discussions. And another thing is, don't try to speak for anybody else. You cannot come on this platform, our platform.
Some people just walked out the room on that one, because it was like, well, I know what I was going to say.
You can't speak for a mixed race person if you're not mixed race. Like on the mixed race conversation that we had, we even said like we don't feel comfortable speaking on certain things, but we can share our experiences with mixed race people.
Yeah. Don't be up here telling me how to...
Don't try to speak for nobody else.
Don't tell me how to cut hair if you ever picked up clippers before. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
But yeah, guys, we hope you guys enjoyed this video. This was a long one. This is probably the longest video we're ever going to put out on the channel. Huh?
I had fun, though.
I did, too.
I had fun.
I did, too. So if you want to see us on platforms like this, reach out to them. Yeah. Let them know about us.
Tag them.
Send our videos to them. That's the only way it's going to happen. All right. So we hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like this video, subscribe, turn on the post notification bell. We have enabled our super thanks. If you like support the channel that way, as well as our join feature to become a VIP member of the channel, send in your reaction request through the description box below. We'll see you soon.
Peace.